Assalamu alaikum to our listening audience. Welcome to BISM Me WDM with today's inaugural show. MGM. Did you know that roundtable with your host Mark Shaheed? The show will occur each and every Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, and 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And without further ado, let me extend the greeting to my brother and to the audience. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Mark.
Alaikum assalam to you, Brother Ishmael Sami, and to our very distinguished listening audience here on BISM Me WDM. And as always, I'd like to begin with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa la sharika lahu. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That is, with the name of God, the most merciful benefactor, the most merciful redeemer. All the praise and thanks belongs to Allah, the nourisher, the sustainer, the guardian, evolver, and teacher of all the systems of knowledge and science. We witness that there is none to be served nor worshiped except for one, Allah alone, and that he has no partners nor associates in his rule. We further witness that Muhammad ibn Abdullah, to whom the Qur'an was revealed, is indeed the seal of the prophets, and he is Allah's humble servant and his noble and generous messenger. And what follows in that excellent salutation, the prayers and peace be upon the prophet. I am Mark Shaheed. I'm the host, the facilitator, and the producer of the MGM. That's the Muslim Global Message Did You Know That Roundtable that's now on this platform of BISM Me WDM. And for those who have followed the roundtable for almost going on 11 years, you know it had its beginning with our sister station, American Muslim 360 Radio, and from there, IWDM Blog Talk Radio, and most recently, A New Day for Al Islam Community Radio. But I can say I am really elated to be with BISM Me WDM. And before I get into this, I'd like to acknowledge those persons that helped to make it possible. And the founders, Brother Ansari, Sheikh Ansari, Brother Imam Shabazz, and Imam Haywood, and there's others that have helped to establish this platform. And so I want to first and foremost give a special thanks to them for accepting this production of the MGM Did You Know That Roundtable. And for those who have tuned in, though, I'd like to bring and present to you on the roundtable very distinguished and esteemed members in our community. And our community is the community of Imam Warithuddin Muhammad. Sometimes I will have guests that's not a part of our community, and occasionally I will take on topics here on the roundtable that I believe that are pertinent to us as a community. No less today in this inaugural production here on BISM Me WDM, we have two of our very outstanding community members that are representing this year's 2025 ATTBG, and for those who don't know, that means a time to be grateful. Oh, I thought it wasn't going to be one. Oh, but there is going to be one. And all roads leads to Newark, New Jersey. And for those that may be listening and haven't heard, this is the new home for the Muslim Journal, our newspaper. And I'm elated to say that we have the vice president of the board of directors for the Muslim Journal there in Newark, New Jersey with us, Imam Muhyiddin Muhammad. And he also have by his side his wife, Marsha Nivens Muhammad. And it needs to be said that Imam WDM Muhammad is the chair for this year's 2025 Time to Be Grateful, and his wife is the co-chair. So with no further ado, I'd like to extend the greetings of peace to our very distinguished, esteemed guest. Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to the MGM Did You Know That Roundtable.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Alhamdulillah. You know, this is always special to have representatives on representing the ATTBG. I heard the announcement, you know, at the last ATTBG when we were there in Miami, Florida. And I understood that this is a historic year for us, as both of you well know, and both of you were key components in helping to make a success along with others, the conveners of imams and all, that there wouldn't be an ATTBG, but the board of directors got together and they took sure and came to a consensus. There is no way that we cannot have that. And for those who don't know, this is a major, I want to emphasize, major fundraiser for our newspaper, the Muslim Journal, to help to sustain and maintain that newspaper. And so they saw it was incumbent that we would have to have a time to be grateful, and hopefully, inshallah, we'll get our managing editor on. She's a walking historian when it comes to not only our newspaper, taking it all the way back to the Muhammad Speaks, and even before that, the Pittsburgh Courier, in which articles of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad used to be printed in before the Muhammad Speaks was established, the Baladian News newspaper, and just the evolution to what we have now is the Muslim Journal, which is very, very important. So, you know, I always like to give at least a couple of minutes in terms of our guests kind of introducing themselves. We do know Sister Marsha. I always get Marsha and Martha mixed up there. But Sister Marsha Nivens Muhammad, I always refer to her as the community servant extraordinaire. And usually when there's promotions that's going on the last few years, she's in the mix some kind of way. She was the chairperson for this year's IWDM 50th, did an outstanding job with her committee and her tireless work and effort. And so we want to make sure that we salute her. And Imam WDM Muhammad, being the vice president of the Muslim Journal, the board of directors been working hard. Newly becoming now the resident imam there, and also being the chairperson. That's quite an honor. So I'm going to always have ladies first, sisters first. So Sister Marsha, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the MGM Roundtable. Take a couple of minutes to let the people know who you are. Most of us, I think, that's listening know who you are, but I know there's some new listeners here on this new platform, BISM Me WDM. Assalamu alaikum and welcome, Marsha.
Wa alaikum assalam, and thank you for having me. My name is Marsha Nivens Muhammad, and as Brother Mark coins it, community servant extraordinaire.
Right.
So I'm gonna wear that hat. He done called me that so many times. I'm gonna put that hat on today.
I'm gonna make a T-shirt and get a cap for you. It's gonna be special for you, and it's gonna be done for inspiration and motivation.
Alhamdulillah.
Community servant extraordinaire. So that means everybody can get it. So when she speaks, everybody listens.
Yes, sir. I'm a native of New Jersey, wife of Imam WDM Muhammad, mother of 3, and now our tribe is a total of 7. So we got a big troop over here. Graduate of Howard University, a member of Masjid Muhammad Newark in Newark, New Jersey, connected to a bunch of different movements or organizations in our community, which I am grateful and proud to be a part of, because oftentimes we talk about what's not going on, or where is this and where is that. And as I do work on many of these different orgs throughout the community, Clara Muhammad Schools Network, Unified E-Committee of New Jersey, the list goes on and on and on, Six Stars in Service. I'm wondering, how are we asking that question? Because there are so many things that are going on. But I'm also part of the core team for Muslim Journals, A Time to Be Grateful, which is a long-standing event in our community. We're at 21 years. Now, I haven't been around those 21 years, but just to know that there is something that is sustained for that amount of time, we got to be doing something right, And so I'm looking forward to this year's A Time to Be Grateful. It's always good for us to come together. And so many of us were together at IWDM 50 in Philadelphia this August. And I pray to see you all in December so that we can be together again, and not just be together to be in each other's midst, although we enjoy that, right? That feels good to us. And I think that gives us like a feeling and a sign that we're still kicking, right? We're still going. We're still on a mission. We still got the work happening.
That's right.
But it's also a time for us to come together and carve out those moments for strategizing. And so I won't go too far because you only asked me to introduce myself, and and I get a little excited. And I'm always, when people ask me to introduce myself, I'm like, what do I say? I don't even know what to pull out. So I'm always telling people, like, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and I do work for the community because, I am a proponent for the mission that we're on, and I've chosen to take it on, and
That's right.
I invite others to take it on too.
Alhamdulillah, that's so very well said, Marsha. I really, really appreciate that. So now the radio listeners always have an idea as to who you are. And now we go to our brother, Imam Muhajiddin Muhammad, the Vice President of the Board of Directors for the Muslim Journal there in Newark, New Jersey. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Imam, and welcome to the MGM Did You Know That Roundtable.
Alaikum assalam. Thank you for having us. Alhamdulillah. And easy to introduce myself after Marsha introduced herself. I'm also known as Mr. Marsha. So that's all I need to pretty much say. But alhamdulillah, we are honored to be in roles of leadership in our community, locally, regionally, and nationally. And we're honored to be the host of this year's 21st annual Muslim Journal, A Time to Be Grateful, where the theme is promoting truth and righteousness. And we're looking forward to seeing you all December 11th through the 14th. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. I'm going to stay with you now, Brother Imam, and thank you so much for that intro. Very, very modest and all. Inshallah, maybe I can get them squares in, before the end of the year, because both of these outstanding community members are part of the ILGDP, and if those of you don't know, the Islamic Leadership Training Development Program that was inaugurated by the conveners of imams. And so you see, not only are they serving in the community, but they also are getting the education that is needed and necessary, you understand, to even become even better leaders in the community. And so look out for that, because they got to get it in, because they're going to be honored. They're going to be graduating. How about that? You're going to be graduating, inshallah, at the time to be grateful. And that's going to be one of the features there. Brother Imam, I want to stay with you in terms of you being the vice president. Of course, my good brother and friend Abdul Kareem Muhammad being the president, and then other very distinguished board members for the new home for the Muslim Journal. When was the decision made in terms of having the ATTBG? Can you give us a little information on that? And was it majority consensus? Brother Imam?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We do things through collective decision making, but it was prompted mainly in particular because we were also working with IWDM 50 as one of the collective organizations. Muslim Journal was one of the, I think it was over maybe 20 organizations working together to put this on. And so initially, as you said, it was announced that we would not have a time to be grateful, primarily because we didn't want to compete with take away from what was a unique period in our community's history. And so we didn't want our community torn to decide which one to choose. So we all wanted to put our efforts to make it as big and as successful as it was, alhamdulillah. And as we saw that it was reaching those numbers and it was going to be at capacity, we knew that wasn't all of our community's support. And so we saw it also fit that we can still potentially get in a time to be grateful, not taking away anything from this monumental year of 50 years. So that's pretty much how it came about. Over everything being successful at IWDM 50, we felt coming back to our new home for the Muslim Journal, a stronghold in the country, the Northeast, that will still be able to get the support that the Muslim Journal needs as a 60-plus-year-old institution, not taking away anything of Imam Muhammad's leadership, because we know that it was his leadership that guided the Journal to become an independent institution to promote not just his community and his followers, but Muslims all around the world.
And thank you so much for that. Imam Mujahideen, I think the timing was very, perfect for the IWDM 50th that was held there in Philadelphia, and it still afforded you enough time to actually be able to put this together. And I think you've done a magnificent job in terms of doing this. And now it's about the promotion, getting the information out there. And we want to say to those who are listening in, as our audience, we're counting on you by word of mouth. We're counting on you in terms of making this announcement in all the massages, Islamic centers that you may go to in regards to that, and that they will be given the information at least twice before this interview is over with, how you can assess the information on the website. And it's an outstanding website that really keeps our community informed of everything. So what we would like to do now is to get into what does this have to offer for this 21st anniversary. And I want to say that was only 1 year in the first year of the COVID crisis that we had, that there wasn't a ATTBG, and then following that in Atlanta, which is historic, it was the first and only virtual ATTBG that was successful. And just keep in mind, dear believers, as we talk about this, I want you to seriously consider making that trip if you can. And then there'll be other ways that you can help if you can. And we'll get all into that. So if you don't mind, Imam Mujahideen, I'm going to go to your wife here and let her start that off in terms of what is it that we can be looking forward to. And if I'm not mistaken, it's going to begin, inshallah, December the 11th through the 14th. And if you're counting, that's 11, 12, 13, 14. And you probably got it. It's going to be a 4-day affair. Sister Marsha, if you would, let's get started in terms of this framework that we'll be looking for this year, 2025, in Newark. Marsha?
Yes, sir. Yeah, and so I first want to start off by just recentering us on the fact that A Time to Be Grateful is the Muslim Journal's fundraiser. It's also a subscription drive. And so we don't ever want to lose sight of that, right? Those are sort of foundational and fundamental to A Time to Be Grateful. And so anytime that I have an opportunity to share that, I share it because, you know,
Yes.
we enjoy all of the other pieces of A Time to Be Grateful. And, you know, I just want us to never overlook the fact that it is a fundraiser and it is a subscription drive. So first and foremost, we are with the intent to raise funds to have the journal be that driving force in our community for print media. And then we want as many people as possible to get a subscription, whether that's a print subscription or that's an online subscription. We want to encourage the community to have a subscription to the Muslim Journal, to sponsor a subscription for your friends and family and your loved ones, for your children. We talk a lot about historical preservation and what our young people do and don't know about the history of this community. So I just wanted to start there. But in addition, you know, we have some events that are sort of standard to A Time to Be Grateful, and then we have some unique things that we are working on this time around, you know, just to make sure that it's engaging and inviting and that people are getting a benefit well beyond their expectation for the weekend. Now, remember, we're still in the 50 years, you know, time frame of celebrating this leadership and the impact that it has had for us personally and collectively. And with that being said, we're working on events that still celebrate that, but also taking an opportunity to be reflective and introspective as a community. So one of the things that I'm excited about is something that we're planning for Thursday, and that's a community resource fair. Now, I haven't been to anything in our community, and that's not to say it hasn't happened, but I haven't been to anything like that in our community. And so let me just talk to you a little bit about what the vision for the resource fair is. You know, earlier I stated that there are times when that conversation comes up about what is and is not, you know, happening in this community. And as I connect with people throughout the community, I know that there's a lot going on. The challenge is that sometimes those entities and those groups aren't connected. And with this resource fair, what we are aiming to do is to pull as many of those organizations and groups throughout our community together to present just, a 3 to 5 minute, what is it that you do? How can people connect with you so that, if you ever been to a job fair or a college fair, right? You walk around the tables and you learn about the different entities and organizations and how you can engage them. We want to do that for our community. We've been talking about how we get that to the masses, right? And so one of the first things that comes to mind is, well, are you going to have all of those entities at A Time to Be Grateful? Maybe, maybe not. Not sure yet, right? So maybe there's an opportunity for a virtual component for that particular piece of A Time to Be Grateful. But that is what we're working on. And so, inshallah, that's going to be a great thing for us to see, because taking that kind of stock and inventory of what we have, it's a motivator.
Yes.
It's a big motivator. And so to see it sometimes is better than hearing about it, right? Because then you're like, well, what are we doing? What do we have?
That's right.
But it's actually quite a lot. And so I'm excited for that. And then we have something that we are planning for the children, which is also another piece that I'm excited about. Oftentimes when we have these events, we will have something for the children, and it sometimes, it's small, other times it's, modest, but we wanna really have something that engages the children this time as well. We do have a lot of young people in the Newark, New Jersey area. I know at Masjid Muhammad, we have a Clyde Muhammad Weekend School. Our enrollment is 30 plus, right? And so, we are looking to make sure that there's something for them to do at this event. So there is a gaming competition being planned. I won't give out all the details today, Brother Mark. I always give you a little teaser, but I never give you the whole thing.
This is an appetizer. This is an appetizer. And then also, Sister Marsha, let me say very concisely that remember now we are still at the end of September. And so a lot of these things are in motion. So you're hearing some things that have been planned or being planned and still need to be planned. So inshallah, the hope that we have is getting them back each month, maybe 3 more times after this turn, and keeping you updated with this year's 2025 ATTBG as it continues to develop and everything. And so just stay tuned to BISM Me WDM for the update information. I just want to just say that, but it's important for both you and Imam Mujahideen to actually come on and to give the update and make sure that they get the website, the information, and registration, and all of the things that they need to do to prepare themselves to be there and be in attendance. So please continue, Marsha. I had to say that.
No problem. And so the last event that I'll highlight is the fact that we are, and you mentioned it earlier, we are graduating another class of the Islamic Leadership Training and Development Program. And so that graduation will be taking place at a time to be grateful. Also, something unique, right? We've had graduation at a time to be grateful before. The difference here is that it's actually being incorporated into the programming where it's not this standalone event that's sort of like an invitation only. So normally on Saturday we are coming to a fashion show luncheon. Well, we've decided to do something different, and we've decided to make the graduation the luncheon. So the whole community gets to be a part of this graduation. And I think that that's so special, especially being in this 50-year time period where the community gets to see the fruits of the labor of the work that we've all been a part of and all contributed to. And maybe you didn't do something specific to ILTDP, but your history, your work, your vision, your commitment, you moving things forward for the based on the leadership that you had contributes to all that the students in ILTDP learn and have been learning for these past 2 years. And so we've set it up to where the community can be a part of this graduation and see what's possible. And inshallah, sign up and, get young people in there. And you don't necessarily have to be a young person, but to make sure that we understand what it is that, who we are. I'll say it like that, who we are, and the story connected to who we are, and then having that to fuel where we're going and who will become, right? And so that's been this theme around this 50 years, right?
Yes.
Where do we come from? What are we doing now? How can we work together? What's to come for the future? And ATTBG wants to continue that same work in this 50-year time frame.
Alhamdulillah. That's so very, very special. I want to get your husband in here, Imam Mujahideen. your wife really gave a lot of great information, and I'm glad to hear that change. I don't know if I had any influence, but I did say to those a couple of years ago with the pilot program of the ILTDP that I and Sister Marsha, she knew because she was actually head of that, and it was so much. I mean, it was just so much. You had to choose. You had to choose. Do you want to go here? Do you want to go there? And Sister Marsha, if you remember, you had me scheduled to be part of a panel discussion, and the graduation, the inaugural graduation, there only been one. Inshallah, this will be the second class. I was just torn, and I had to tell the facilitator, Brother Bilal, another outstanding young Muslim adult, and I told Sister Marsha, let him facilitate instead of me, because I couldn't be at two places at one time, and I was supposed to make a presentation, and I did, and everything, and praise be to Allah that Imam Dr. Bashir Ali, a good brother and friend of mine, enabled me to do that, to reserve that, to congratulate all the graduates. It was 10, and we have 10 this year, and inshallah you'll be hearing from them here on BISM Me WDM before that event happens at this year's Time to Be Grateful. So, Imam Muhajideen, how important when you all made the decision, and the framework is somewhat those that was in Philadelphia, IWDM 50th, you didn't get opportunity to miss anything where you had to choose, do I go here, there, or where do I go, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, or what? The way this is planned, that everybody attend would be able to take in everything that this year's 2025 ATTBG have to offer. Imam Muhajideen, speak on that if you would, please.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's the benefit of our collective thinking, that we're able to share insight that one has in the experience that allows us to make the adjustment. Because we are an independent community, Allah has blessed us to self-govern ourselves. And so not only are we, again, replicating to the best of our ability that collaborative sessions, we're also even trying to intensify and enhance it, and we're still working on that as well. I know some people are familiar with TED Talks, so we're thinking about integrating. We of course we dubbed it Taqwa Talks, and so that we can get more people in our community to present during those traditional session periods of workshops. So alhamdulillah, again, that stuff will be unfolding as we go forward. One thing I did just want to add also, to couple what Marsha mentioned about some new additions, alongside with the New Africa Resource Fair, we're also intending to have Imam W. Muhammad Community Town Hall. So just like we want to acknowledge what we have, we also want to identify insights on where we should go. And so we're going to invite people to articulate some shared visions that we could unpack. And potentially we want to create some type of collective community pact or agreement so that we could be working together going forward, no matter where we are in the country. And then another thing we want to also highlight is that we are incorporating our young adults throughout this whole program. As Sister Marsha mentioned, we're going to have a particular area for the younger youth to have tournaments and gaming and connection, but we also want our young adults, 25 to 45, 25 to 40, to be engaged throughout the weekend as well. So we're looking forward to that with Culture Night, of course, traditional, and then the awards celebratory banquet, inshallah. And we're going to continue what was also presented, the imams and community leaders community meeting. So
yes.
We're looking forward to that as well.
And I'm already excited. As far as I'm concerned, it could begin tomorrow and everything. And I want to say to those listeners, what you're hearing And this is what we've been waiting for. I always remember what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said back in 1972 when he heard a recording, a tape of his son, Minister Wallace D. Muhammad, at that time, in the acknowledgement, along with our Honorable First Lady and Mother of our community, Sister Clara Muhammad. Clara, isn't this what we've been waiting for? And this is what we've been waiting for, because you can tell, you should be able to tell that these are young Muslim adults in our community that are our present. And when I say our present, I'm speaking as Imam Muhammad has said to us, anytime there's a homonym, just taking you back to the language, homonym, there is a connection. They are present in terms of time, but they also are present as a gift to us. And those of us that's been around, you know, that are seniors, that are pioneers now and all up in age, we often think and concern ourselves, what will our present and future look like? So you're hearing that today, and you're hearing that being expressed by those that are our present. They're not our future. They're already working. The future is with the youth and grooming the youth to be able to become leaders. The ILTDBP, it is designed in terms of successive leadership. It actually is an outstanding program. And inshallah, you here that listening to BISM Me WDM, you'll be able to really get an opportunity to see all what it offers. And maybe you have children or grandchildren, nieces or nephew, community children that you can sponsor. And this already has been done. If I'm not mistaken, Brother Imam, you're a part of it. I think there are 10 students. 7 of them are imams. And if I've heard correctly, there's one sister that actually has received a PhD while attending this class. And as Sister Marsha so eloquently articulated, you don't have to you just be a young person per se, but to have the interest in terms of wanting to learn this deen. And I'm familiar with your outstanding instructors. I've known them for a long time in that regard. So, Brother Imam, if you would please, you know, this is very important as we have traditionally had the luncheon, and this year is going to be changed. And I think an excellent choice in terms of having the graduation along with the luncheon instead of just having a fashion show. And I know some of you love fashion shows and designs, but I think that this is so important because I think it's needed and necessary to showcase what is being done, and especially for the naysayers to say, we ain't doing anything. Well, they may not realize leaders are being shaped and formed as we speak. Imam Mujahideen, please speak a little bit on that. It's important.
Oh yeah. And we're still going to have the fashion show. It's now called the Business Fashion Show and Brunch, and that will be on Sunday. So we didn't leave out their cultural expression. Okay. That's also very important for us to have independent thinking and also our independent expressions through our cultural expressions. Alhamdulillah. But yeah, so you can check out all this information. Of course, you can go to muslimjournal.net, and then you'll find a tab that leads you to our home email or our home website, which is www.masjidmuhammadnork.org. That's www.masjidmuhammadnork.org, and you'll see all the information where you'll get access to the link. We're using a new platform as well. That's very user friendly. We just remind people that it's a nonprofit platform where there's no fees, but they do ask you if you want to donate, you can donate. That's what keeps the platform free, but you're not obligated to donate. And then you can decide how much you want to donate as you purchase your tickets. But we just want to make sure people know that it's going to be covered, that you have to select it or deselect it and say no donation or $1 or whatever you want to give them out, because we did have a few technical issues with that. But other than that, again, www.mashgiamuhammadnewark.org.
Alhamdulillah, and I'm glad you said that. That was very timely. And so, those of you who didn't get your pencil and pad or your ink pen and pad, please do so, because before this interview is up, they will have opportunity to disseminate that information. That's where they're on. I know that there's going to be an interest in terms of wanting to attend it. You should not want to get it secondhand. You should want to experience it. Those of you who have not ever gone to ATTBG, let me say you'll be in for a real treat. Sister Marsha, I am coming back to you because you said something initially in the first question that I asked you in terms of the ATTBG, and we don't want to lose this. Inshallah, we'll be looking at in the month of October in terms of having the president of the board of directors for the Muslim Journal, Imam A.K. Muhammad, on with us, and who I call our chief fundraiser, that's Da'iya Muhammad, down in the jewel of South Atlanta, Georgia, who is also a co-advocate along with myself for lifetime subscribers in terms of getting a lifetime subscription for the Muslim Journal. And we don't want to overlook this as being the major fundraiser. But Sister Marsha, it is so imperative that we support our own newspaper. It's called Muslim Journal. And if we don't support our own newspaper, who will? We can't afford to let it die. We have, and this is part of the leadership of Imam W.D. Muhammad Azizi endorsed that, and other community newspapers, whereas that we can stay in constant communication. It has become a legacy in our community, and we have that obligation to support. And Sister Martha, also, while you're addressing that, I also would like for you to address, in addition to that, how those that may not be able to come, how can they be supportive in terms of sponsorship and all? I know I gave you a lot, but you can handle that, Sister Marsha. Please.
I got it. And so, yeah, so for sure, Muslim Journal is our paper. It's our paper. And, as I think about the journal from time to time, and I think about the support that the journal is often asking for, sometimes, when we're young, right, and certain things don't seem so important, right? And when we're busy, other things get priority over something else. And then when we're just sort of tied into whatever worlds we're tied into, we lose sight of the things that are important and vital. And with the Muslim Journal, the thing that I like to center my mind on when I think about the journal is that it's our voice, right? And so if for nothing else, let's support our voice. And the journal has multiple ways for you to be able to do that. So some of us like a printed paper, right? A physical paper. One of my daughters, she loves to read, but she likes to have a book in her hand, right? I don't necessarily need the book in my hand. I could either be listening to it audibly, or I can, have it on a device, right? So you could either support the journal by having a print subscription where you're getting a physical paper delivered to you. And if you are not necessarily doing that as an individual, you could also do that as an organization. I know Masjid Muhammad Newark, we have papers that come to the masjid, and then we disseminate them from there. And I personally have an online subscription, right? Because that works for me. I say all that to say it's important to promote our voice, right? And it's also important to be a part of the stories that are told. So if there are writers that are out there if there are events that are happening that you want us to know about as a community, the journal is your vehicle for that. You don't necessarily have to, pitch op-ed or, all of those things to a major paper. We have the Muslim Journal, and it's going to be disseminated amongst those who know and understand your journey, right? And so I think that that's really important. And then we just happen to be in a time period in history where you just don't know which story is real, right? There's so many things out there, and some of the stories, are very disheartening. But when you get that news and that information from people that you know and that you love, and that you also know that are responsible for the information that they're disseminating, it's different. It's different because we're held to a different standard for what we put out into the community space. So,
and Sister Marsh, excuse me for interrupting you on that point. It's not fake news.
Right. It's not fake news.
It's not fake news.
So you don't have to wonder. Oftentimes I click on my phone and I see something and I'm like, is this real? Because certain things, they just seem so extraordinary, right? And you don't know who's behind that story. Whereas with the journal, we know. But even if we didn't know the individual behind the story, we do know the integrity of the paper. And we do know the responsibility that we have taken as Muslims to tell a story that is factual, that is going to be beneficial, even if, it was a story that perhaps, has some sort of, not maybe not a positive spin on it, but to make sure that information is getting out to the community so that we can make wise decisions. So I'm saying support the journal. You have a couple of different ways to do it, but it's our news, it's our story, and maybe you don't necessarily always understand the value of supporting something like that or having something like that. But we do so many things with our dollars, right?
Well, yeah.
And so if for nothing else, even if you don't understand the value, support it because you know the integrity of the paper is different than anything else you see out in the public space. And then the last piece I will say is that we were talking about zakat yesterday, right? In Imam Mujahideen and that it wasn't just this giving of your money, right?
Yes.
It's a giving, of your resources. And so again, if you're a writer and you have time, give in that way. Support in that way. That dollars are important. I won't water that down. Dollars are important. But there are so many other ways to give to move this forward. So, if you have a critical thought about the journal and what it is and what it is not and what it's doing and what it's not, give your zakat to the journal.
Yeah.
And however you have that zakat to give so that it is strengthened.
Yes. That's so very important. I'm glad that you actually said that because that's very profound to put on those that's listening mind. And one of the things I like that you said, Marsha, in the very beginning is that it is our voice. And so when you read the Muslim Journal, those of you know I can't read. I'm legally blind. But I'm a co-advocate for lifetime subscribers. And I have a lifetime subscription. Not so much in terms of being able to read it or maybe getting somebody and paying them to read in the Muslim Journal. There's so many things in it. When she says voice, I just want to be a little bit more descriptive in voice because inside the Muslim Journal, you always are going to have an ayat from the Qur'an. You know, when Allah is speaking to us as human beings, you always are going to have a Sahih Hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You always are going to still sustain and maintain a message of concern that Imam Muhammad gave years and years ago, a message of concern that's still present in the Muslim Journal. And as you were talking, Sister Marcia, in terms of very resourceful people in our community, there's some long-standing columnists. You say, how you know all that, Mark Shaheed? Yeah, because at one time I could read, almost 14 years ago. But I know people like Imam Mikhail Sahir, the man behind the men that authored that book, still writes. My good brother and friend, Imam Dr. Abdel J. Nuruddin, nutritionist, health specialist. And there are many, many others outstanding articles. And the one thing that Sister Marcia said, very important, the integrity of the newspaper. That is very, very important. Not fake news that, you know, we got that from other people, but we found out that, in part, that is correct. There's a lot of fake news that's going around. And one of the things that Imam Muhammad put in the Muslim Journal, that this cannot be a sheepish newspaper. Sheepish newspaper in that regard. In addition to that, you still have the centerfold with past addresses and lectures by our beloved teacher and leader Imam Wafdi Muhammad. They never get old. In addition to the Muslim Journal, you also have the calendar of events that let you know what is going on and what is about to happen. Very, very important. I just want to just say those type of things so that when we look at how we can help the Muslim Journal, there's many ways. I want to go back to you, Imam Muhajiddin, in terms of that, those many ways that you can actually help. As your wife so eloquently articulated, this is also going to be a subscription drive at this year's 2025 ATTBG, but the subscriptions can vary from a 6-month to a 1 year, 2 year, how many years you want, or a lifetime subscription, and also in terms of those in terms of even vendors that we so readily need and sponsorship. So if you would, I gave you multiple questions there, so I know you can handle it, Brother Imam. Talk to the people in regards to that. That will be an ongoing thing at this year's 2025 ATTBG. Imam Muhajiddin?
Yes, sir. Also, the monthly digital, as was just expressed, it's our voice, but it's also our vision and our values. It preserves our values. And so when you kind of stumbled, it was a I know when I read the Qur'an and sometimes we stumble, sometimes I take another look at what I just read because there might be something Allah is trying to show me. And so as you said subscription, I thought of prescription, and it is a prescription. every paper.
That might be your cook bar later today, right?
Yeah, I'm on today too, so inshallah I might have to put that in there. But the message, as was articulated going back to the Pittsburgh Courier, as you mentioned, as an article of Muhammad Speaks, and even going back to Elijah Muhammad, he even said, and of course I wasn't there, but we got, because of recorded, documented lectures and articles, now we're able to identify what even he said. And even Sister Aisha K, she always reminds us that the journal is a rough draft of our history. And so when we're talking about fake news, I thought of something else. It's called the news of faith news. Because if you want to know how do Muslims fare in America, you have to go through those who were indigenous to America, and we have that preserved in these periodicals. So it is very important to get whatever subscription/prescription that you can afford, but also that you can gift. One thing that our dear president, Imam Abdul Kareem, he emphasizes that he has a strategy with his membership that they put so much towards the journal that is taken care of for the whole month, and that they're able to give it to people in the neighborhood. And we also give it at our masjid. We give it out for feedings. We give out weekly feedings or bi-weekly feedings. We add it as a part of our distribution. And now we're also partnering with CARE, New Jersey, to also now get it in our prison system, detention centers. So we're working on that as well. And so, again, Allah has blessed us. As time has advanced, technology has advanced, even the techniques that we disseminate the information should also advance. And so we are keeping up with the times. We are looking at the digital platform. Again, you can get a digital online subscription. And we're working to, just like in those days when we were right down to the modern day and time, we also want to compete in the digital space. We're going to compete in the AI space. We're going to have our Muslim Journal bots. We're going to have our Muslim Journal apps. We're working on these things as well as our own social media platform. Because again, we're in the space that you have to communicate in the language that people understand. And so, inshallah, as we evolve to the next generation, we'll also be evolving the way we disseminate the information as well.
Yeah, and that's very, very, very important to really realize and utilize this modern technology that is beneficial and others have benefited. We want to utilize it. We also want to benefit and to reach and more and more people in regards to what it is that we have, which is our voice that's speaking for us. And we got to have a loud voice because we really do have, something to say. And, one of the last things I want to say before we give an opportunity to our very patient listening audience, they may want to ask you some questions or they may want to make a comment in regards to something that you said, or if what they've heard today is really resonating with them, that they really are going to be thinking about attending this year's 2025 ATTBG. I want to just say in terms of vendors, look, to become a vendor, you can't beat it. Become a vendor, to increase our vendorship in the Association Imam Muhammad. It only requires that you take 5 Muslim journals. That's a minimum, 5 Muslim journals. You get them at a discount, only in terms of the Muslim Journal. Now, for those who don't know and haven't been keeping up, and you haven't been reading it, the paper costs itself for $3. Everything has gone up, and of course, the Muslim Journal had to make a decision to go up. But you can get the Muslim Journal if you are a vendor for $2. And so 2 times 5, we all are good in math. We know that's only $10 a week. I ask you to pay for it in advance, if you can, in that regard, and become a vendor. That's one of the ways that you can help, in addition to your own subscription. And you probably could sell 5 newspapers or 10, 15, or 20 or more at your respective massages and Islamic centers. That will help the Muslim Journal. Also, in terms of sponsorship, we have people in this community that Allah has blessed with wealth. So we're making an appeal to you, too, in terms of sponsorship. And Marsha and Imam Mujahideen, is that even consider that in your respective local massages and Islamic centers. Those that may have gotten up in age where it's difficult to travel or what, but Allah has blessed you with the means, get together. Find some young Muslim or Muslim adult that's just starting out in life, get together and sponsor them. I'm just advocating that. And Allah will bless you and reward you for that effort. These are some of the things that we can actually do you see in that regard 5 Muslim journals a week, and you can become a vendor. I had to say that, Brother Imam and Sister Marsha, and if it's okay with you, and I'm looking forward to Ishmael giving an opportunity for our listeners, and we're going to come back and give that information again and have closing remarks from our guests. The information again in terms of the website, how they can contact. You need to begin now. You understand? They will. I want them to give an update on the hotel and everything. One thing I have noticed in the last few years, that registration just takes off seemingly, and I don't know how many rooms are being reserved, but you would like to be there. And then there's another interesting feature too that I think was learned from IWDM 50, and I will let probably Marsha talk to you about that. How we're looking at in terms of actually saving money and keeping some of the money in our community until Allah bless us to have everything that we need, even our own hotels. Yes, that's big thinking, but that's the way we have to be thinking. But I like the way IWDM 50th was done in terms of using Masjid Allah for many of the entities that we had, and only just pretty much having the extravaganza banquet there, and just utilizing that hotel for that and that only. So if it's okay with you, we're going to go, and if you have a question or comment, all you have to do is double press star, and that would bring you in, and it's just so that please state your name, where you calling from, and extended greetings. And if you want to remain anonymous, that's good too. But if you're a Muslim, it's incumbent that you give the greetings at least. Ask your question to our very distinguished, esteemed guests, or make your comment, whatever it is that you have to say, if you would, please.
Yes, thank you, Mark. Assalamu alaikum again to everyone. Listening artists to the BISM Me WDM radio podcast. And I would be remiss if I did not give thanks and acknowledgement to Imam Muhammad Samad, rahimahullah alayhi. He made this platform possible. And without him spearheading this, I don't think we would probably be here today. So I want to thank him for that.
Yeah, most definitely.
Also, I want to, for people that want to raise their hand, you can press *2 if you're on your phone, or like Mark said, you can press ** to go off mute. Or I will unmute everyone, and if you have a comment, you can give the greetings and ask your comment, or ask your question and state your comment.
Good to, you can unmute everybody, but if you got noise background that you might, and you don't have anything to say, please just mute yourself. That way we won't get the noise background, because we are going to archive this and make it available for the future, and those can go back and listen to it. Yes, sir.
It looks like someone has unmuted their phone, so they may have a comment or question.
Okay, there you go.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam. Who are you? That voice sounds familiar to me. Who are you? Where are you calling from? Good question or comment to I guess.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you so kindly. I am Daprita Abdul Hadi from Flint, Michigan. And alhamdulillah, I wanted to just give greetings and congratulate you, Brother Mark, on your presentation on your new airway here, and give the greetings to the Muslim Journal presentation. And Juma Mubarak to everyone. Thank you so kindly. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam. And thank you so kindly for calling in and expressing the congratulations to Muslim Journal, which is our newspaper. So we have to make sure that we make this a success there in Newark. No doubt about it. We have to do that. Thank you so much, Sister Deprisa, for calling in. Anybody else? You want to start? Double press star. Question or comment, even welcome, I guess, you might want to do with the Sister Deprisa. All of us can extend the greetings, a peace, and be an encouragement for the work that our president is doing. Young Muslim adults are actually doing. We're hearing some new innovative things, some changes that's for the better, and all of this, and it excites me. It really does. It excites me. I love to see this leadership, successive leadership, be actually active and working to make a difference in this community. And these two very distinguished persons in our community are actually making a difference. So we should
Yes,
always
sir.
have word encouragement. Yes, go ahead, Ishmael.
So no, I'm just letting them know I've unmuted the phones on my end. So if you have anything to say, you can unmute on your end and make your statements or questions.
Yeah,
Thank you.
right. And that big star, just press start. This is a new platform, and so many of them have to get used to it. All you have to do is press star. Your mic will automatically be open. Star. Anybody? Not all at one time. Don't be scared.
Well, yeah,
Let's say something to, go ahead.
Alaikum assalam. Who are you? I know this is another famous voice on our platform.
Yeah, this is Rashid Salam. Rashid Salam from St. Louis, Missouri.
Alhamdulillah, from the STL.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to give the brothers a greeting and wish you, and thank you for a new program, and we look forward to more in the future. And tell your friends about it. Tell somebody else about it next time we come back. Thank you so much, and the greetings to Sister Martha, Marcia, and Brother Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Thank you.
And that's Rashid Salam, longtime engineer for me on IWDM radio, and also outstanding talk show host in terms of the science of your health and your wealth of learning labs. So that's something that you might want to actually tune in to, because we need to know the science of our health and also our wealth. In that regard, we need that information education. Alhamdulillah. Anybody else in terms of that? If not, I want to I want to give both of you this opportunity. And Sister Marcia, you already know that pretty much the questions that I'm going to ask in terms of the finality of the question, and also Imam Muhajiddin, you'll be able to give that information again in terms of the website, because in this first visit to the round table, we want to get the information out. We want to dispel any misnomers, misconceptions, perceptions, whether there's going to be, how things just kind of float in the community. Oh, I heard it ain't going to be. Yes, it will. Yes, it is. And we're counting on you, the listeners. Those of you, the listeners, to get it out. And I'm recommending that you put it in the public announcements at your local masajids and Islamic, centers. The last question that I always ask, and I ask that you incorporate that in your closing remarks. Why should you make a sincere effort to attend the ATTBG, a time to be grateful? And before you answer that, I have to say this, is that our beloved managing editor, Professor Aisha K. Mustafa, some of you don't know what that K is, but that K was given, is Kuba, Aisha K. Mustafa, in terms of how this got started. And then this was inspired by the Qur'an. Yes, Surah Al-Rahman, Surah 55. And which of your favors do you deny? And we know that we don't deny any of the favors, those that we're conscious of and those that we're not conscious of. And as Allah has revealed in the Quran, we don't deny any of the favors of Allah. So it was planned in terms of two major holidays. After the holiday of Thanksgiving, and also the major holiday for our Christian brothers and sisters, Christmas. And so traditionally, it has been on the second weekend in the month of December. Now, we had to change that a little bit last year in Miami because so much was happening. And so we had to change the tradition, but we're back on target this year in Newark, New Jersey. And so the time to be grateful was birthed out of the inspiration and the motivation, you understand, that we got from Revelation. A time to be grateful. A weekend that's set, and seemingly that it has expanded from 3 days to now 4 days. So it's a time for us to be grateful for all the blessings that Allah has bestowed up on us. It's a time for us to come together in unity. You just got a snippet of some of the things that are going to be planned. And those entities and organizations that have an opportunity to display their wares, and you have an opportunity to communicate with them in terms of what it is that they're doing. This is very, very important to want to take in all of it as much as you possibly can. And Allahu Alam, Allah is the best knower. So, Marsha, I'm going to let you go first this time. And you can incorporate that question in your closing remarks. And then Imam Muhajiddin Muhammad, you can do the same, and you'll have the last word. And both of you all can give. So I would say to our audience, get your pens, get your pad, and take down the information, the website, and get that information, how you can register, hotels, just all the information that you actually have that you know would be a concern for those who are planning to come. And we want to get as many people off the fence as we possibly can. So once again, Marsha, I give it to you, that question and your closing remarks. And if you want to give the information, we can't give it too much in terms of the website that they can go to get the information and all. Sister Marsha.
Yes, sir. And so I'll say this part before I talk about why you should be there. We're a husband and wife couple, right? So you got to be careful who you give the last word to, Brother Mark. But
well, you know, but you know what? I started with you first, and I'm ending with you first. Now, whatever happens in between, my name is Bennett, and I ain't in it.
I love it. But absolutely, I'll address the question in that I'm encouraging us all to be at a time to be grateful, because it is yet another opportunity for us to come together as a community. You know, in this Deen of Al-Islam, we do so many things collectively, and this is just another opportunity to come together as a collective and support what's ours. You know, this community has an ecosystem. And in the ecosystem are so many things. And up under that media component of this ecosystem, which we've called New Africa, or however we call it, right? All of the components of our community deserve support. And so we're in the space and the time where the support is for the Muslim Journal, our voice in print and digital media. And so I'm encouraging us to give support to that component of our ecosystem. We're switching some things up this year that will, inshallah, increase engagement in various different areas. But more than anything, we want to support what's ours so that we have longevity and sustainability. And we just love to be together. But again, not just to have that warm feeling of being together, although that is a wonderful byproduct. This event is also an opportunity to come together and network and strategize and really make those connections between each other to move some things forward for us individually, for us collectively, for us in society, because we really have been gifted with so much in the leadership of Imam Wafaddin Muhammad, Rahimahullah alayh. and we have that to offer to the community. And the journal is the way that we do that in print and digital media. So we're asking you to come out and support. And there was a question you asked earlier that I didn't respond to, and you had asked me about for those who couldn't be there. And so I'm saying for those who can't be there, support someone who is going. Support a young person, right? We talk a lot about our young people perhaps not engaging these types of events that we have in our community. Well, if you can't be there, support them getting there. And then there are also those pioneers in our community who would love to be in the space, and perhaps finances can accommodate. If you're able to make those donations via sponsorship or even a direct gift to someone, I'm encouraging you to do that as well.
Mm-hmm. Sister Marsha, I'm glad you said about in terms of support the young people. I'd like to add to that and hold them responsible for bringing back the good news back to the community for those who were not able to really make it, and Allah knows best in that regard. That has become a tradition going all the way back to the Nation of Islam, and I can say that because I came into the Nation of Islam in 1967, and that became a tradition. Those that was not able to go, those that were able to go, they didn't come back silent. They came back informing the community. So the inspiration and motivation that they got and they received, they was able to share it with the ones that was less fortunate. And that tradition has continued in our community. So we should hold our young people responsible. Listen, I am helping to sponsor you, to pay for you to be there. But you have a responsibility to get that information and the education. I want to just say, for those who never have gone, this is a big educational piece that the ATTBG also provides. Oh, yeah, you'll be very, very impressed with those, some that are known and some that are unknown. As Sister Marsha's have so eloquently articulated, you will learn something that you didn't know. And we know education is our number one priority, and that's how we should look at the Muslim Journal. It's a dawah piece, but also as education. How many times have you read the Muslim Journal and you learned something that you didn't know by columnists, our beloved teacher and leader, Imam W.D. Muhammad's addresses and lectures and all? It's always learning from the front to the back. This is how we have to look at it in that regard. And you also will receive that at the ATTBG, in addition to the camaraderie that we look forward to and everything. It's just so much in terms of a benefit of actually being there. So if you can be there, please do that. And as Sister Marsha have said, that if you can't and you have the wherewithal, get together with other believers in your respective masajids and Islamic centers and say, we want to send 2 or 3, 4 or more young people, but hold them responsible for bringing back the information, the highlights, and all of this that will be happening this year in Newark, New Jersey. I just wanted to add to that. And do you want to give that information to the website? And Brother Imam can give it again. So those of you ready, and when Sister Marsha give you don't have your pen and pad, go and get your pen and pad. She can say it, and then Imam Muhajiddin, he will have the last word. And I'm mindful of that. I'm going to make a mental note so when I have you back in October, you're going to have the last word, Sister Marsha.
That's right.
This is an equal opportunity here on the MGM. Did you know that round table? So
I love it here.
Yeah, I know you love it because I always have a solution for what could be potentially a problem. So next time, inshallah, next time in October, when you come back to give us an update and everything, I'm going to remember that you will have the last word. And I know he knows religions. He knows the religion so well. She can't say anything but Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes, right. All right, brother. All right, Sister Marsha, you go ahead and give that, and then we'll give it again for those who are still trying to find that ink pen that will work and everything, and that pencil that's sharp enough to write this information down. Go ahead and give that information, and then we're going to go to your husband, and he's going to answer that same question. Why should you be at this year's 2025 ATTBG, and his closing remarks too? Sister Marsha?
Yeah, so to access information about the Muslim Journals of Time to Be Grateful, you can always visit muslimjournal.net and click on the ATTBG tab, or you can go directly to the Masjid Muhammad Newark website. That's www.masjidmuhammadnewark.org, and that also has an ATTBG tab. But in addition, when you get to that website, there's going to be an immediate pop-up that gives you information about A Time to Be Grateful. So either our options, you can also check us out via Facebook, there will be information on Masjid Muhammad Newark's Facebook page, but also there is A Time to Be Grateful, a Muslim Journals A Time to Be Grateful Facebook page. You'll just search that into the search bar, and you'll see information all about A Time to Be Grateful. And you can see the A Time to Be Grateful events that have occurred throughout the years on that social media page. So in all of those ways, you can connect with this event. You'll also begin to see some advertisement in the Muslim Journal. So again, promoting those subscriptions / prescriptions, right? And you will see some advertisement in the journal as well. So we want to make sure that you can access it on all fronts. And then we're just encouraging you to share that information amongst one another. Perhaps you're not able to attend, but someone that you share it with will be able to attend. And I love Brother Mark's suggestion about sending representatives. I grew up in the church, right? So sometimes when you couldn't go as a group, you sent your representative. So I'm encouraging. I'm seconding that emotion, right? For that to be a strategy that we use even beyond ATTBG, so that all of our all the touch points in our community receiving information about the various different things that are going on.
Alhamdulillah, that's excellent. That's excellent. You know, excellent ideas and suggestions can be carried forth in this whole country. With Association Imam W.D. Muhammad, these very viable and valuable entities that have been established, we can have representation, and everybody should feel as though that's an obligation to have representation there. If you can't make it, get together in unity in your community and make that happen. Brother Imam, it is now your time and everything to answer that same question in your closing remarks. Why should you be there at this year's 2025 ATTBG? And I do that for those that oftentimes I know just on the fence. They straddle the fence. Do I, don't I? Should I not? And everything. Brother Imam?
Yeah, so alhamdulillah, you should, because you were invited to come. And as believers, if you're able to answer the call of an invitee, you should make it happen, inshallah. So just for the purpose of being present also gives you that spirit, gives you that, for lack of a better phrase, that testimony that you're witnessing how community could be every day. That's one of the things that when I participate in community activities is what brings peace to me on my decisions that I make, is because this is the life we want to live every day. So though we have this annually, we have other events throughout the year. As Imam Muhammad shared, these convening, these coming together in large numbers is really a prototype of how our community should be every day. And so that's why you should be there if you can make it in person or senior representative, so that you can get a real live action of how model communities should operate in your locale. My closing remarks is in regards to one thing we didn't get a chance to mention when you mentioned about the various ways people can support the Muslim Journal. You did mention our dear sister Daia, that's co-chairing with you, the lifetime subscriber. She also initiated the $1 million campaign for the Muslim Journal, which really only breaks down to about $1.50 a day, where we get 2,000 supporters to give $500 for us to meet that $1 million campaign. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow the Muslim Journal to have not just what it needs to take care of its responsibility to sustain itself, but it's going to allow us to really project ourselves in the future with a leg up. And so all these different ways that our community members can support the Muslim Journal, the Time to Be Grateful event, we welcome that. We also welcome you and your insights. As was mentioned, we're still open for people to present. We're going to have a different way of allowing you to present, but we're still welcoming people to send proposals. So you can send your proposal at 2025 ATTBG. That's 20, the numbers 2025 ATTBG at gmail.com. One more time, 2025 ATTBG at gmail.com. And we also open for people who would like to volunteer. We have a form for you to do that as well. And so again, the website is www.masjidmuhammadnork.org. That's www.masjidmuhammadnork.org. And it's always an honor and a pleasure to be here with you. Of course, it's even more better and pleasant to be alongside my wife, as we are one, as we do these things together. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Brother Imam, you haven't been married very, very long, but you know the right things to say, brother.
That's right.
Look at she married witness. But I want to say this, as a wordologist, the word team, TEAM, together each achieves more. But as a community, we also should work together as a team. Together, everybody achieves more. And so this is the concept, and this is what it is that we want to see in the sacred institution of marriage that is so beautiful, where you can have husband and wife team in sync with each other, working for the same cause, and that cause is pleasing to Allah. You see, once we learn, you understand, our creative purpose, then now we can begin to start to live in our life in accordance with that creative purpose and all. So this is beautiful. They work together as a team. But I'm still going to be mindful that next month, Brother Imam, your wife will have the last word. And all you can say is Alhamdulillah. Because like you say, you won. We have a little fun here on the MGM Roundtable, but it's all in the goodness and all where we can have a laugh. But we are so very serious about this. We are so very serious about our newspaper. We have to take ownership of it. Our beloved teacher and leader talked about shared freedom space. But we also need to know that in that shared freedom space comes responsibility. And it's our responsibility first and foremost to embrace our newspaper. We don't do like we did back in the day when I was in the Nation of Islam. We had to take 300 newspaper if you was an able-bodied FOI. And I did that and many others. I was 300 plus man. And there was no problem in terms of doing that. We went rain, sleet, hail, or snow. Muhammad speaks must go. That was our motto and theme. And so now we ask less of you, but we ask that if we have all hands on deck, it would be easy. So whose job is it? It's everybody's job. But everybody don't think or shouldn't think that somebody would do it, which probably anybody could do it. but nobody winds up doing it. But because everybody is somebody, and probably anybody could do it, we can't allow nobody to do it. So we want to eliminate nobody, and then we want to say about anybody, we might get anything, so it only leaves two bodies. That's everybody and somebody, and everybody is somebody. And if you see yourself as somebody, that means you can do something. And if you do that, everybody will have a hand in it. That's how I look at it in terms of working together as a team. But we have to sustain and maintain our newspaper, the Muslim Journal. That's our obligation. That's our responsibility that we all have. We're looking for subscribers, and all those websites, the information. You don't have to wait till December the 11th to get a subscription. You can start now, and that will help and get the information out. Help us get the information out. I want to thank both of you for being my honored guests here on the inaugural BISM Me WDM. You've done an outstanding job. Is that somebody?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
This is Haywood Talib from Houston, Texas, and I just want to give the greetings to our guests before they leave.
Yes, sir.
And so I've enjoyed. I've been on ever since we started this morning. So.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you, brother Talib. Imam Talib. Tuesday and Thursday and Sunday they're going to begin coming on the national platform in terms of the books of Imam W.D. Muhammad and also commentary. I've listened to it. I'm very, very impressed. The latest publication by Imam Ronald B. Shaheed, that is out over 500 pages, The Treasure Under the Wall. If you haven't gotten it, you should get it. It's over 500 pages. I think the cost for shipping and delivery is something like $55. There's 19 chapters in there. But it's an outstanding publication. It's a must-read. These brothers do an outstanding job, as you just heard, Brother Hayward, in terms of reading and also igniting commentary. And everybody will be welcome. We will have that update information for you in the month of October when that's actually going to begin. But that is going to be also featured here on BISM Me WDM. And so it gives you the time, the date, and all that's going to begin. So stay tuned to BISM Me WDM. I want to thank you, Imam Muhammad Muhammad, and your wife, Marsha Nivens Muhammad, for sacrificing your time, accepting my invitation. And you always have an open invitation here on this platform. And I'll be getting in touch with you for the next visit for October, November. Maybe we can get into in November. We'll see how we can set that up, leading to December the 11th through the 14th. So everybody can be informed, so they have no excuse not to know. And we are counting on those of you listening, get that information out, to those that haven't tuned in, and invite them to tune in to BISM Me WDM. Once again, I want to thank you, and may Allah bless you with a blessed Juma today. And I also want to say that, as Imam Muhammad always would say, and he loved so much, and I want to say to have a wonderful day. And who could say it better than the legendary Louis Satchmo Armstrong? So until next time, this salam is for you and yours. May God's peace be with you now and always. Assalamu alaikum.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying how do you do. They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They like much more than I never knew. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful
Oh, yes. Until next time. Assalamu alaikum.